Hi, I'm Krille. I play bass in the Power Paladin, and you are watching Metal on Loud.
Thank you very much for joining the podcast, man.
No problem.
How are things in your world?
Pretty good. Yeah. I'm excited for the album coming out finally.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's coming real soon now, yeah?
7th of January, I believe. Yeah.
That's pretty fast. I've been listening to it all week, and I must say I was surprised by it. It really blew me away.
Okay, that's good to hear. Thank you.
Yeah. How long have you been working on this album?
Well, we started recording it sometime during 2018, and it was some kind of a slow burn until like we kept putting it off. We kept saying like, okay, we're just gonna play this one gig and then we're gonna focus on the album. But then we never did until the pandemic hit, which obviously meant that we couldn't play gigs or really do anything anymore. But that was kind of a blessing in disguise for us because it allowed us to really focus on the album. So during like the latter winter and spring 2020, we finished all of the instrumental recordings. And then over the summer, we finished the vocal recordings. And it was mixed and mastered during the next winter. And it was early February, I believe, that we received the final master.
The reason why I ask how long you worked on this is because it sounds really polished.
Yeah, the thing is that Ingi, our lead guitarist, and Bjarni, our keyboard player, they are both actually educated sound engineers. So we had all the knowledge in-house, so to speak.
Yeah, it already says in the press release that you guys are from Iceland, which is a dark country with a lot of extreme metal. How did you choose power metal?
Well, we all love power metal, I guess. I mean, we've all been friends for a long time, and me and Kalle, our drummer, and Ingi, our guitarist, we've been in a couple of other power metal bands before. Mm-hmm. And then when our last band broke up, Atli, our singer, he had been writing a lot of power metal, had a lot of material stored up, and so yeah, we jumped on board, and we just really wanted to make power metal, I guess.
Yeah. For the longest time, I've been a bit tired of power metal because it has all these cliches, these typical things. Yeah. And listening to this album, I can check a lot of boxes, but still it's different.
The thing is, we like intentionally kind of play with these cliches because, I mean, as you said, power metal it's so riddled with cliches. So we kind of embrace it. It's like it's kind of like it's really funny and absurd, silly music, but that's kind of what makes it fun. Yeah. So instead of like trying, oh no, we can't do that. That's too cliche or it's too typical. We tend to more lean into it, like try to make it even more so.
Yeah. Usually when you think power metal, the first thing you think is dragons. It's on the cover. You think eagles. Yeah. It's in the song. Wings. Swords.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. What is power metal to you exactly?
Well, it's fast. It's kind of overjoyous, kind of manic, and it's about fantasy, and it doesn't take itself too seriously.
Mm-hmm. Those are very important things. I think what you added here is another layer, and it's sheer musicality, I think.
Thank you.
Yeah. There's some material on this album that, even though it's absolutely power metal, it sounds much deeper for some reason. Mm. That's why I asked for your roots. What do you listen to when you're at home? Is it just power metal or is it more?
I mean, me personally, I mean, I started when I was a teenager just with Iron Maiden. I just listened to nothing but Iron Maiden for like a couple of years. And then I got into power metal, and from there I branched out into like the rest of metal, basically like black metal and death metal and stuff like that. But I mean, I also listened to, I mean, quite a lot of non-metal music, obviously. But I mean, for the band in general, I think, I mean, our biggest influences are like these like early 2000s power metal bands like Hammerfall and Rhapsody and Blind Guardian. But I mean, we're influenced from all over the place. I mean, we're all a little bit into death metal and black metal and stuff like that. So it's not like we listen to power metal exclusively, any of us.
Mm-hmm. No, this album, usually power metal is full speed ahead, 1,000 miles per hour. Mm-hmm. Here there's nuance, there's different melodies, there's slower parts. I really enjoy that.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah. It's I mean, for me personally, one of the pitfalls that power metal bands often turn into is that because it's always so fast and the double bass is always going and it just kind of it's flat. You need the slow bits to make the fast bits fast. If that makes sense. Yeah. So that was something that we consciously tried to avoid.
There's also a little storytelling going on this album, it seems, with the little intros to the songs.
Yeah, I mean, those are kind of like, as I mentioned earlier, those just kind of playing with these cliches. Like we like I think it's before Evermore. There's this bit where there's like a creaking door and footsteps and all that. We were just kind of like, we had finished recording for the day, or just sitting around and all getting kind of drunk, and we were like, hey, we need like an interlude, right? So although it may seem like we're telling a story, it's really just a case of we thought it would be kind of fun.
Well, you fooled me there. I really thought it was like a storytelling going on there.
It's the illusion of storytelling, I guess.
I like that. There's nothing wrong with that. Would you ever consider doing something like that to make an album in a whole theme?
I mean, not really. That's not really what we're about, I think. I mean, we most of our songs are like, they're not really about any specific story. They're more about the mood and the theme. Like Into the Forbidden Forest is about a party of adventurers who are delving into this evil dungeon, which is like a huge cliche or trope in fantasy and power metal, but it's not about any specific story. So I think it's hard for us to make a concept album or a story-driven album, because we are more writing about like the vibe, the theme, you know.
Mm-hmm. You cannot make this kind of music, I think, without having at least a little knowledge of the fantasy genre. So where it comes to that, how much of the genre do you like? Where are your favorites?
I mean, personally, I'm always reading something. I mean, more often than not, it's fantasy or sci-fi. Right now, I'm reading a book called Revelation Space, which is fantastic. But I think like fantasy literature is obviously like a huge influence on our writing and our lyrical themes. I mean, we have Dark Crystal, which is that's about the that 80s really weird Jim Henson puppet movie. Mm-hmm. And then we have a couple of references to Brandon Sanderson's Stormlight Archives series on the album. Yeah. So I mean, we're all into this stuff, basically. Yeah,
I caught those as well. I'm a big fan of Sanderson. I think I have them all here behind me. Yeah. If I look at your pictures for this album, the press pictures, most of them you're not smiling, and that's really very atypical to a power metal band.
I hadn't really thought about that before. I think we're smiling in most of them, but
I think there's one, and that's the one that they picked for the Atomic Fire press release. Yeah.
Is that the one in front of the church? Or?
The church, yeah.
Yeah. That photo is actually like a lot like it's this Catholic church downtown Reykjavik, and it's like this big Gothic monstrosity, and a lot of black metal bands have done photos in front of there, like wearing their hoodies and being all grim, and in black and white. So we thought, like, let's do a really happy photo there instead.
Yeah, I got that as well, and I like that. But if I look at your video, for instance, you also seem very serious.
Yeah, the thing was, we shot that video. Originally, the plan was that Craven would be the first single for the album, but we ran into trouble that we had already released Craven, so both the splash wouldn't be as much for people because people had heard before, and also they were worried that the Spotify algorithms and wouldn't consider it a new release, so it wouldn't get into playlists and stuff like that. Mm-hmm. So at the last second, they turned Righteous Fury into the first single. But we had already planned a video shoot for Craven, and that was like a big, like a green screen thing, Mm-hmm. And then at the last second, they're like, "Hey, can you do a Righteous Fury one?" So we had just spent 14 hours doing the video for Craven, and then we spent 90 minutes doing the Righteous Fury one, which was originally just supposed to be like a playthrough video. So we're just kind of standing there and playing. So it would have made more sense that we would have released like this big action production thing and then the kind of relaxed playing video. So we actually got quite a few comments like, "This is kind of a weird video. Like, this is a very intense song and you're just standing there and your drummer looks unhappy because he was exhausted." But
that was the first thing I saw of you guys when I got the name from Atomic Fire that they're available. Would you like to interview them? I went to the website and I saw images from that video. I thought, band name looks power metal. Video doesn't look power metal. What's going on?
The Craven video will be out in a couple of weeks. That's going to be very power metal, I think.
I'm looking forward to that. I've seen many reviews of you guys playing live, and I'm really curious, what does your live set look like?
Well, when we started out, we kind of discussed whether we should do the whole costumes thing that a lot of power metal bands are doing these days, and we just thought, we would probably get tired of it after 3 gigs. So we took a pretty conscious decision to just kind of do a kind of down to earth, just a metal band doing a gig kind of thing. We don't have a lot of, it's just as I said, just a very basic metal gig. So, we tried to be as energetic and fun as possible. And Atle is a fantastic frontman, and if there's an equipment problem between songs, he can basically go into a stand-up routine for a couple of minutes. So it's just basic but fun and energetic, I think.
Energy is very important in a live set. How do you handle crowd interaction, for instance?
It's usually just pretty organic. Atle, as I said, he's a fantastic frontman and has just a huge knack for this stuff, I think. Mm-hmm. And we never plan anything here you're gonna ask them to do a pit or anything. But it's just Atle doing his thing mostly, I think, and he's really good at it.
This is really sing-along metal, so yeah. You originally started out as just Paladin. Why the name change?
When we first started playing, we saw that we were throwing names around. We saw that there was no active metal band called Paladin, and we thought that is a fantastic name for a power metal band. Yeah. But then when we were about done with the album, some guys in Atlanta in the US apparently thought the same thought and had formed. And so they had released an album in 2018, this American band called Paladin, and they're also kind of a power metal band. So it would have been extremely confusing that there were 2 Paladins. So we just kind of ended up, we wanted to add something to the name because we kind of wanted to keep what recognition we had. So just, I mean, we threw around words like Turbo Paladin was in there for a while, and it ended up with Power Paladin. Just sounds nice.
It not only sounds nice, but it also tells a little bit about what's in the package, and it adds to the cheese factor. And
yeah, exactly.
I looked at your tour agenda, and there's one date in there, and that's in December. What do you guys have plans? Are you still planning things?
Well, it's a little bit hard to plan right now with the pandemic, obviously, but also we're still kind of reeling from all the attention and positive reception that we've been getting from the album. So we haven't really just been planning much longer than until the album gets out. We haven't nailed anything concrete down, but we are hoping to play, a couple of festivals on mainland Europe this summer. But it is kind of hard. I mean, we're living on a rock in the North Atlantic. It's not like, if we were in Germany or something, you could hop on a bus for 8 hours and be basically anywhere in mainland Europe. So we're definitely planning some gigs in Europe, but nothing concrete yet.
Okay. You do have an awesome new record label, Atomic Fire, which must be very exciting for you.
Oh, yeah. They've been fantastic, honestly, just so professional and nice, and yeah.
I've known those guys for a while in their previous positions, and I was surprised that they started the label, but it's such an exciting journey they're on. Big names, very good company. Yeah,
absolutely. It's kind of weird, like sharing a label with like Opeth and Halloween and stuff.
Yeah. How did you land on that?
Well, originally we didn't really have any notions of even getting a label or anything. We just kind of like wanted to make an album that we enjoyed. But then we finished mastering it, and we like sent it to our friends and like some people we know. And one of them was his name is Thorsteinn Kau, and he's the organizer of Wacken Metal Battle Iceland and the annual like Icelandic trip to Wacken. And he's like in the business and knows people, and he apparently sent it somewhere. And then Marcus from Nuclear Blast or Atomic Fire contacted us and asked if we want to chat. And we were kind of like, we just kind of like want to put it on. That sounds like a lot of work. Just put it on Spotify. But then Thorsteinn was like, my guys, you are being ridiculous right now. Nobody gets this opportunity. Talk to the man. And and we did, and we're really happy that we did.
Yeah, I can imagine. This is a chance. If you would have let this go,
we had no idea who Marcus from. Like, he works at Nuclear Blast. Cool, I guess, but yeah, he's apparently a big deal.
Yeah, yes. Looking at the future, do you have any specific plans where you're going from here after this album?
I mean, we're going to make another album, I guess. We've written a couple of songs. We're probably going to start rehearsing them in the new year, but nothing concrete, really. I mean, we're still kind of reeling and shocked from how well this has done. So,
yeah. When I was listening to this music, the first thing that came to mind was that this would be an awesome theme for a tabletop game or something similar.
That's a pretty good vibe, yeah.
Yeah, I think that would really work for you. Would that be something that you would consider in the future?
I mean, if somebody wants to license our music for a video game or a tabletop RPG, that'd be great, as far as I'm concerned.
Are you guys gamers by any chance?
Yeah, I mean, everybody plays video games these days, I guess. But I mean, we've all dabbled in like D&D and stuff. And I got really into Warhammer over the pandemic because I was locked at home with nothing to do. So painting tiny little guys was a great way of wasting time. But yeah, I mean, none of us are really like hardcore gamers or anything like that, but we all dabbled in D&D, as I said, and stuff like that. So I mean, that's where a lot of the inspiration, I think, comes from, the lyrics and stuff like that. And I mean, the name, I mean, I think Atli was playing a paladin in World of Warcraft. That was basically where the name came from.
I usually go for the orcs and the barbarians, but yeah. Do you have any last words for your fans out there, our viewers?
Well, we're all just really flattered and frankly amazed and shocked at how many people have enjoyed our first single, and the reception we've been getting is amazing, and we're all kind of in shock and just very thankful for how it's going. And I hope people like the album. I really like it myself.
I do as well, and I think you're off to an amazing start, and I cannot wait to see what comes next.
Thank you.
Thank you very much for your time, and Metal on Loud, man.
Thank you. Have a nice day.